I hate that cheap thermal paste. It's like glitter. It gets fucking everywhere. Yeah. Wait. Hello and welcome back to another video. Ooh. Another one with the Dell Dimension 2400. More specifically, about its North Bridge. Well, chipset hub. What I call it a North Bridge. But first, some context. This is a Celeron, a Northwood Celeron, at 2.4 gigahertz with 128 kilobytes of cache and a 100 megahertz frontside bus. Yes, I know it says 400. That's just weird, silly crap with the marketing. How it's it's quad pump too. It's 4 times easy fit. It's still at 100 megahertz, but whatever. This is a proper, also Northwood, Pentium 4. That still has a stupid fucking thermal paste on it. Oh my god. Why do they put that metal dust in it? It's a Northwood Pentium 4, 2.53 gigahertz, 512 kilobytes of cache, and 133 megahertz frontside bus. Now, this Celeron, probably triggering everyone by touching the pins. Oh my god, there's more on my fingers. Oh my god. Can you tell I don't like that thermal paste I use? This Celeron was originally in this computer. Now, I don't hate this CPU, honestly. Yeah, it's slow and it's not good, but, it has its place, It had its niche in the market, This thing made sense. Unlike this CPU, it had a right to exist. It knew its place. It made sense. Unlike the latest Celeron Ds. Ugh. I have one of those kicking around. Socket 775. Fucking terrible. But, the thing with NetBurst is, well, is that, it's very cache heavy. It really loves its cache. This is not focusing very well. Oh my god, there's more thermal paste on my, fingers. Despite this being underclocked, which you will, notice in a minute, see, it's, like, look, there's, like, that stupid silveriness all over the goddamn socket, and there's more over there. It makes me mad. I need to get new thermal paste and toss the old stuff out or something. Better yet, push all the old thermal. That is the wrong way around. It's not. Maybe I should pay attention instead of running my mouth. Man, this video is going gloriously, isn't it? The next cheap thermal paste I'm going to get, I'm going to make sure it doesn't have that stupid, it's just going to be that regular non-salted stuff, the metal dust. The more cache, the merrier. Despite this CPU being underclocked in this board, due to this, which is in part due to this, despite that, in quite a few cases, this outperforms this, because this has more cache, despite being underclocked to 1.9 gigahertz. But why is it underclocked to 1.9 gigahertz? Well, under here is the North Bridge, an Intel something, I forget the name. For those of you who know the history on these Dell 2400s and their contemporaries, you'll know that you can't put a 133 megahertz CPU in here. That boils down to this chipset, this North Bridge. The North Bridge is soft locked to, if it detects it's at 133 megahertz, it won't boot. More specifically, if it passes the power on self-test, so it checks the RAM, and everything, and it tries to boot, it'll check if it's running at 133 megahertz, and then it'll like off itself and reset and like hang itself. Interestingly, if you set the PLL to 133 megahertz, then remove the RAM, it'll beep. So that means the CPU is actually running, because that's how it generates the beeps, the beepy beeps. So it will work at 133 megahertz. It will work. These god-awful chipsets, North Bridges, is what causes it to not work. So, a bit of a workaround is to manually set the front side bus to 100 megahertz. Granted, this does underclock the 133 megahertz chips, but it does open up more options for upgrading or changing the CPUs in these. And it means if you have something lying around and it's, you can still upgrade or just change it. You could probably pin mod the CPU or the socket, but that's fiddly. I don't like that. What I did instead, so I went down here. Apparently, you decided to put a lot of glue. Oh yeah, I know what that's from. That was from the old mountain. And basically the actually let me clean this off. Okay, so here is what I did. This is our PLL. This generates all the frequencies, and kind of difficult to read, but basically yeah, this generates all the frequencies. Interesting how I believe this thing can go up to 200 megahertz. Yeah, which would make it compatible with the Prescott's, the higher frequency Prescott's. I think even socket 775 Cedar Mills, but that doesn't really apply here because, well, yeah, socket 478, baby, yeah. Basically, another interesting thing to note is that despite having SM bus, this does not have granular control over its clock output. Unlike other PLLs where you can where there's these like inside Windows overclocking utilities where you can basically select what type of these you have and manipulate the I think the counter thingy or the multiple. I think it's the weird counter thingy that it counts, and I don't know how PLLs work, but you can have quite granular control, and you can bump the CPU and everything up, but even by the tiniest 1 megahertz. It varies from PLL to PLL. Not on here. That's not supported on here, which I found kind of odd, especially because it has SM bus. I'll have to read the datasheet again to figure out what the SM bus is for. I think it's just for reading the clocks. Not sure. Anyway, however, it is possible to change what this thing does, albeit more coarsely, by manipulating the pins, setting them high or low. What I did was I made the camera extremely shaky. I moved the resistor that was there and there. Is there anything else? No, I don't think. So yeah, there and dust. The dust is now gone. And there. And from, or was it? No. So yeah, these are two of the, I think, 3 lines that can be used to set from 66 that you can set tell this PLL to set the front side bus to 66. I don't know. I don't think there are any CPUs on socket 478 that even run at 66 megahertz. You select this to 66, 100, 133, and either 166 or 200 megahertz. In this board, it's only 66 or 100 because stupid Northbridge. Anyway, run off here and there. Set them to connected them to some switches, to the middle pins of them, and on the other pins, have them set to either ground or set the line to high or low, so VCC or ground. And to do that, I know this is not the most tidiest wiring. One of the logic levels is here, and the other one being there. That's basically what I did here. How I got this to work, I basically did a bit of a mod, kind of a nasty mod. It was a little nastier before in the original thing, to force this to be 100 megahertz, or 66. If you just want your PC to be extra painful to use. Yeah. That burst was nostalgic, but like, not good. But yeah, that's how this mod works. But wait, there's more. More like, I forgot to put these in the main video, and don't suspect anyone's going to read the description or the comment. So basically, this mod probably relevant only to this revision of Intel desktop board. There's probably other revisions where this is moved around. Interesting how the BIOS on this reports this as 1.9 gigahertz, the CPU clock speed. And I just get more shit on my hand. Indicating perhaps what BIOS programmers did was just read the multiplier and multiply it by 100. And there you go. Which, you know, that makes sense, because, like, this isn't supposed to be in here. What else? No, there's something else. I know something's wrong with that PS2 port. I think someone plugged, like, either unplugged or plugged something in and it fried it. Or maybe they put one of those, like, really silly, vacuum, USB-powered vacuum cleaners. By USB-powered, I mean, like, those things you can still buy. But in the past, they had PS2 ports. And what would happen is it would fry the PS2 port. So I need to inspect that. It was not the connector, it was something else. Something else is fucky with that. I'm not sure if perhaps the microcode that contains the limitations of this, I'm not sure how this is configured by Intel to set those limitations. I'm not sure if Intel either, like, used the laser to, like, cut configuration lines on the die, or to, or if they blew, like, E-fuses that were in the die. Perhaps it's, in the firmware. Perhaps this has, like, a ROM in it that has this thing's microcode, and it tells it how to do stuff, and it implements this thing's, like, finite state machine. Or, and if I'm lucky, what this does is that this, on boot, talks to this, which then reads from this, and then this contains the microcode for that. I doubt it, but maybe. And if it is, it probably has, like, stupid cryptography crap that like will take like 10 millions of years to crack and get the private keys, and tomfoolery. I don't know if it's might also be possible to perhaps glitch this chip via mod chip in order to force it into 133 megahertz. Maybe it only checks if it's running that fast on when restoring from sleep or on boot up. Perhaps when it's running, you can force this thing to update to the new frequency, and this will like still run it at that. I'm not sure. I have my doubts. It might be possible to somehow. I don't know if it's just somehow possible to glitch the chip. I don't know. I think one comment to said something about why no AGP. That's because this not only does this chipset only run at 100 megahertz, despite the fact that it can run at 133, it just doesn't want to because of programming. Intel also soft locked AGP out here. The AGP is multiplexed with the add, or I'm guessing add 2, Intel's stupid add 2 video card solution that was basically a digital video out via Intel's crap. Both the lines with that and AGP are multiplexed, but on here that doesn't do anything because Intel went, fuck you everyone, let's produce an absolute pointless chip that has no reason to exist other than to artificially create options in the market. Yes, options, yes. Isn't capitalism just lovely, just how it just innovates? Yeah, this crap here is just real innovative. Yeah, real fucking innovative. I'm also not sure if perhaps there's an exploit or some weird crap that can be done by like talking to this via its configuration registers on the I/O memory range. I have come up with some like really batshit insane ways to basically bit bang, concepts of bit banging AGP over like either the RAM or the add 2 interface. Well, technically just regular add, but I don't know what add stands for because well, or even add 2 because it just search up, oh, Google search up like, oh, did you mean like addition? Because it really dumb name. Yeah, don't know what else to add. I think that's it. Also, this is kind of risky. You can technically fry something by doing this. So yeah, and this whole thing isn't definitive either for like other boards. This whole thing was a one-off.